Okay, sorry about my voice. I lost it this weekend and it's still not up 100%. Got my Sidewinder X1 from Artillery or Novo or whatever they call it now. This will be my second one. I really like the quietness of the machine, the large build, the ease of putting it together, and just the overall high quality build and structure of the machine. So I'm going to show you here what it looks like coming out of the box. I got it packed in really nicely. I love this foam. I use it for other arts and crafts stuff. So you got your instructions here. Everything was checked and confirmed by somebody in a language that I have no idea. The read me first document. Hazards and warnings: electric shock, burn hazard, fire hazard, pinch hazard, static charge, and age warning. For use under the ages of 18, adult supervision is recommended. So none of you teenagers out there should be having a 3D printer. You should let us adults take care of this. Then you got your instructions here. How to properly connect the flat cables. That's one thing that's just really amazing for this printer compared to the other printers. The other printers have cables running all over the place. And those cables can sometimes get pulled out. Like this one here, my threading came off of wore out on the screw, and so it's hanging there loose right now. I need to fix that here in a second. But it's so much nicer to have these flat cables. But I have heard that some people have had some trouble with the flat cables. But that's probably because they haven't pushed them in correctly, and they're probably get shorted out because of that. I can see that happening very easily. But it's a pretty self-explanatory with the pictures. It's not too difficult to push the cables in. And you got your instruction booklet here. It's really not much to be put together. It's basically just the upright columns and putting the cables in and hooking up the filament support. I like that it has a touch screen. That's a really nice feature compared to the little dial and push knob. Here's your installation manual here. And do not remove before assembly. That's the cover on the bed. And so there you have it and everything. I will see if I can take it out one-handed. I don't think I can, but I will try. They really got it stuffed in here tightly. And all these little foam blocks. Here's your filament holder here. I like this much better than the sticks that you have. It just rolls up there, doesn't get in binds or have the filament pinch that you need to. If you have the Bowden tube here, that filament gets pinched in there in the extruder, so you have to print out a bracket to kind of keep the filament away. These other ones where I just have a direct drive hooked up, it can just go straight down. But sometimes even then, once it gets up towards the top of the support beams there, it'll start getting kind of in a bind, where this sits way up above the machine. I've got my 5 kilogram rolls hanging from the ceiling. That seems to roll out pretty smoothly, and going to my 2 machines here. So let's see here, we got power cord and another. I really like how they package them. These support things are great. I usually I like to put some of these in if I have like a helmet or something a little more on the fragile side that I'm shipping out. These make really good supports in the box to keep them from being crushed by the evil postman or UPS driver. So let's see here if I can get it out one-handed. I'm probably not going to be able to do it. It's packed in there, kind of wedged in there. There we go. There, I got it. Sorta. So here is your main tower here. Let me sit it up on the desk. Okay. So one really nice thing about this machine is that it has dual Z motors, and it has a much more stable threaded rod system here than on the Creality machines, where you only have, basically it's just flush there. This one is going to help really keep that in check. And then at the top here you have a cable. It's not super tight or anything, but it keeps your Z-rods in sync. So that way one of them doesn't accidentally turn just a hair more than the other, which is a problem on the CR10S. You have to measure each side pretty often, or it starts getting out of kilter there. So, and up here's your filament sensor cable, and then this is the back side. I'll flip it around here, and your extruder and all your motors and everything, it's all put together there. It's all zip tied together so it wouldn't shift during moving. Here's the cable, or the tape cable that I was telling you about, and it has a really nice extruder system. It feeds in by itself. It's not this thing where you have to make sure you hit the hole with the filament. It's got a really nice insulated cover on the nozzle. The nozzles are much higher quality grade. They don't have the problem as much with the PTFE tube breakdown and heat creep. I have the stock one that comes in it is probably something cheap. It's kind of like the little white cable, the white tubes that you get with your other Bowden machines, and it's real cheap. So I have replaced it with a Capricorn tube similar to this, and probably not much longer than that. And after that, I've not had any more problems at all with the machine. And there's a great video that shows you how to take this apart. It is a little bit of a challenge on that first time. It's like you start taking it apart, it's like, what in the world? But once you see the video, it's like, oh, okay, that's no problem. And it comes right apart and puts right back together and is no problem. So now, what do we got in here? Comes with a really nice bag of tools. Everything's all packed in here nicely. It's got your tools, it's got some extra of the tape cables and everything too. So, and it also has some other spare parts. Let's see if I can unzip it, sorry. There we go. So you got, this one runs off of a USB drive or an SD card. I really like this USB drive. You just plug it in. It's not as apt to fall in a hole or something like that as those little SD cards are. You got quite a few extra screws. Some of these will be used to put the support tower onto the machine. You got your little Allen wrenches. I wish that they would include the longer Allen wrenches with the set. it comes with an actual wrench instead of those little flimsy little metal things. Where is it? Like what we have here. I like to magnet mine to the side of the workbench so that way I can keep them handy. And then here's the USB drive. If you want to run it directly from your computer, I don't like doing that. And then here's some extra parts. I believe that's a replacement sensor. It's got a replacement replacement nozzle, some zip ties. There's the replacement tube, but like I said, get you a little piece of Capricorn, works far much better. It's probably actually only about half that long or so. And then let's see what we got here. Take some more foam out. Hold on just a second. Okay, I'm back. Got it up here on the table. So here's your bed. One really nice thing about the bed is that it is already set up. It's got this insulated sheet, and it has a super fast heating system on it. The beds on these will heat up in the matter of seconds, not minutes. In some cases on these bigger beds, without the silicone bed replacement, I've put that on here. This one will heat up to 60 degrees in about 2 minutes. Before, it took like 15 minutes to heat up to 60 degrees. Also, this one's got a really nice aluminum leveling system here. It's got your wheels that run on the guide. One thing that's different about this one is they have gone with a much wider rail, especially on the x-axis. That makes for a little more stable compared to a 20 by 20. You've got a chance for wobble in a 20 by 20, where in the 20 by 60, it's just much more stable of a system. It's the first printer that I've seen that's gone with this much wider layout. It pushes in nice, it rolls right nice and smooth. I have not had to change anything yet on the tensions on the cables. Here's your screen. It's a touch screen. Your switch is on the back, and the setup is basically you will screw the base to the towers, the extrusions, and then you hook up the wires, which they have taped down nice and neatly so that they aren't in the way. Your tape wiring tape here will plug in here. You've got a switch here that plugs in and everything, and then you've got a couple switches on this side and on the back for your motors. But there you have it, the Sidewinder X1. I highly recommend this. This is my second one, and if finances allow it, I'll try to get another one. But I've just thoroughly enjoyed mine. It's over here. It's printing a back plate right now for a Mandalorian armor. This printer here, this is the ANET A8. It's very cheap. For a big printer, you can get one of these for like $175 on eBay. It got to me very quick. It got to me like in 3 days off of eBay. But I will let you know, very first thing, replace all the bearings with the nylon bearings. Those things instantly were bad, and it gouged grooves in my rods here. So I've had to replace the rods, and I've had to replace the bearings. I replaced them with regular bearings, and those didn't last either. I don't know if maybe the spacing isn't perfect. Maybe these things are off just a little bit. But now that I've put the nylon bearings, I've not had any more problems with grinding of the bearings. Also, the extruder is very cheap plastic, and it went out on me the other day, and it was like, what in the world is going on with this machine? I thought it was clogged, and I said, well, you know what? This little cheap plastic extruder setup could be the issue. So I stole the metal one off of my A-net, my first printer over here. So poor little thing is all in pieces, and I put it on here, and now it's working. But I needed a large format printer to help with printing some backplate armor, and also the wire here, it tends to have a little more friction to it by the way that it's set up and everything, and I have worn through one of the heating elements already, and I have also had a fuse on the switch blow on me, and I've not had that problem with any of the other printers. So if you don't mind doing some extra work, this is a very cheap large format printer, and when it does print, it prints good. It's got some issues. So thank you very much for watching.